All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to talk about the Toronto Raptors center situation. I really like it. I think it's pretty versatile, and I don't think that they're done quite yet. Yesterday I made a video talking about Goran Dragic possibly getting traded to the Dallas Mavericks in return for a package of, the package would likely be like Trey Burke, maybe Powell's involved, but mainly we're looking for Moses Brown. Moses Brown is a 7'2", 21-year-old center, fits exactly what the Raptors are looking for. But in the meantime, they currently have Khem Birch, they've got Freddie Gillespie, and then they have Precious Achiuwa. Now, Freddie Gillespie was horrible in the Summer League. He was absolutely horrible. He averaged like 2 points a game, 6 rebounds, did have a block and a half per game, but he shot, I don't remember if it was 26 or 27%, but either way, for a big man, for a center to shoot 26, 27%, that's a no-go. So that's why you have a lot of Raptors fans kind of calling for Dragic to get traded to the Mavericks so they can pick up Moses Brown and then go ahead and get rid of Freddie Gillespie. Freddie is really the weakest link on maybe the whole Raptors team, and it's kind of surprising. Picked him up last season. He impressed right away. They signed him to a contract, and it looks like he just looks like a totally different player. Like, he can't catch lobs. He can't pass the ball. He can't protect the rim. He just can't do a lot of different things. So right now, it's Khem Birch, and then you have obviously Precious Achiuwa, but you also have guys like Pascal Siakam. You have guys like Chris Boucher. Even OG has played center. I've seen OG guard, was it Karl Anthony Towns that one game? So, yeah, it's not your first bet, but you have a bunch of different lineups you can roll with. You have a bunch of different rotations that you can pick, and you can just insert them. You have several. Scotty Barnes, 7'3" wingspan. He's going to be ready to go right away. He's kind of that point forward prototype player that they're looking for. He can definitely play some small ball center, but mainly you have Khem Birch and mainly you have Precious Achiuwa. Now, I've made a couple of videos on my thoughts on Precious Achiuwa because I think 2-3 years from now, he might just be the Toronto Raptors starting center. This is a player who is extremely young. He had a very similar rookie season to Pascal Siakam, and look at Pascal Siakam now. He's an all-star power forward averaging more than 20 a season. So if there's anywhere you can develop a player like Khem Birch, develop a player like Precious Achiuwa, even Freddie Gillespie, any developing player in general, Toronto is a great spot. They know exactly what they're doing. Pascal Siakam wasn't a three-point shooter. Precious Achiuwa wasn't a three-point shooter. And what you see in the Summer League, you saw Precious Achiuwa taking three-point shots. You saw him taking mid-rangers. You saw him taking more deep shots, which you've never, like, especially if you're a Heat fan, this is something he never did in Miami. He never took a three. So to see him have that confidence already, the season hasn't even started, it's going to be fun to watch. And Precious is one of those really high-energy players that you can insert even into a starting lineup or to close a game. He's going to provide that jolt and that energy that's going to motivate the rest of the team. So they're both 6'8". That's probably the biggest weakness. But like I said, if you're really trying to get a little bit bigger, you can work around with several different lineups. They are very long, so you can put in a bunch of different long players. But Moses Brown, that's where it would help. There's where you get your 7-footer. You get that 7'2", that long wingspan, that 20-something years old, second year in the league. Moses Brown last season put up just under 9 points per game and just under 9 rebounds per game in about half of the season with the Oklahoma City Thunder. Now, he only actually averaged 21.5 minutes per game. So if you were to look at his per 36, the statistics are way more eye-catching. So Moses Brown, I'm very, very big on the Moses Brown train. And in fact, I think it's honestly just most likely. I think this is a most likely situation. I know Dallas has said they don't want to pay Goran, but at the end of the day, they need to get Luka some help. And they have a pretty big selection or decent selection of big man. So Moses Brown to the Toronto Raptors, you go ahead, you get rid of Freddie Gillespie, and then all of a sudden they have one of the most promising and interesting center cores, center rotations in the entire NBA. Khem Birch out of Orlando. I really like Khem Birch as well. This is a player who didn't take a three-pointer in Orlando, and look at him now. He's attempting threes. He's actually not a horrible three-point shooter, but it just goes back to that development and that progression in Toronto. It's a great place to be for all different positions. But like I said, you go back to Pascal Siakam in his rookie year, he put up, I think it was 5 points per game, 2 rebounds per game. There were flashes, but Pascal, you weren't expecting him to mold into the player he is today that quickly. And I think with either a new coming center or Khem Birch or Precious Achiuwa, I think one of those 3 centers will eventually mold into the long-term center for the Raptors. Now, something that I've actually talked about a few times before is a big superstar trade. I don't think it'll happen this season, but a guy to keep your eyes on is Karl-Anthony Towns. I think he would be a perfect fit, the Toronto Raptors. And if the Raptors were to bring in a player like Cat, they are automatically championship contenders. Automatically. Some people don't even have the Raptors making the playoffs. I saw another power ranking, Eastern Conference power ranking yesterday. It had the Bulls at 8 and the Raptors at 9. And I was like, it's a little bit better than the 36.5 wins that Vegas is predicting. But I think the Raptors will be a little bit better than the 9 seed. And then for the Chicago Bulls, I think they'll be much better than the 8 seed. So take it with a grain of salt, but at least the Raptors have a bunch of different options. I've mentioned Chris Boucher at the 5 a few times before. Still not really a big fan, but I bet we see it a handful of times this upcoming season. I'm really, really interested to see what Scotty Barnes can do at the center position. Same thing with OG. I'd like to see him play a little bit more small ball center, not large chunks of games, but maybe like the last 2 minutes to close out a game. If you really need him, you need that defense, or even just randomly inserted at different times in a basketball game, like for 2-3 minutes. Here's OG playing center. I just like the versatility, and I just like seeing different lineups, rotations, and seeing what works, seeing what isn't going to work. So as far as the young core goes, for all of Toronto, they're looking great, but mainly, specifically, we're talking about the centers. I will go ahead, I'd give them a B rating. I think they're pretty promising, but at the same time, they still have a lot to prove. So I'm going to go ahead and give them a B, maybe even a B- to start this season, but I bet they'll end it much higher than that. So that's it for today. If you guys enjoyed it, hit that like button, hit that sub button. Same for 300 likes on today's video. That'd be great. Peace.